Welcome to Good Life, where we are all about you. And when we say you, we mean all of you, including the little ones. We're all about ensuring you feel better and healthier, so you enjoy every moment with the ones closest to you. A smile on your face is what we're about. That's why you'll always be welcome back to Good Life pharmacies across Kenya with the same smile on every visit. Good Life. We're all about you.
This is NTV.
With 3 minutes to the top of the hour, you're just in time for NTV Tonight. So buckle up as we go on the air with these top stories. Tonight, no extra cash for cash-strapped counties for a third consecutive year. Commission on Revenue Allocation proposes sharing formula for next financial year. Also tonight, security agencies descend upon KAPEDO as tough-talking Interior Cabinet Secretary promises results.
We are in hot pursuit of certain people, including leaders.
Tension still high in volatile region.
Niko na msichana wa class 8, atafanyaje mtihani? Hajasoma.
Plus, brazen daylight bank robbery along Nairobi's Mombasa Road.
They've taken a lot then. Bags of money.
Detectives detained 2 police officers in connection to Monday's incident. Also ahead, suspects in bizarre ritual killing of Tharakanithi girl to stay in custody as police complete probe.
Tukapata msichana amekatwa shingo, mwili iko kando, kichwa iko kando.
Akanisheti nichukue ng'ombe ili atulipe huyo mtoto.
NTV Tonight with Mark Masai.
And I'm also with Flora Tino, our sign language interpreter, for the next hour or so. Thank you for choosing NTV Tonight. Cash-strapped counties may be headed for yet another financial year without an increase in the equitable share allocation, if the proposal from the Commission on Revenue Allocation is anything to go by. The Commission has released its recommendation for the sharing out of revenue between the national and county governments for the next financial year, proposing the retention of 316.5 billion shillings in equitable share. Olive Burrows starts us off with the numbers.
Money can turn even the best of friends into enemies. An adage that proved true when it came time to decide on a formula for how the monies raised nationally would be divided up between the counties from the financial year 2019-2020 for 5 years. The third such formula following the promulgation of the Constitution. In this case, regional interests trumped political alliances as the one man, one vote, one shilling versus the land area debate raged. And again, as has become our reality, a consensus was arrived at only after the divisions over the division of revenue threatened to ground county services. But there were terms and conditions attached, more money to share out. The agreement being that the equitable share of counties should be pegged at a minimum of 370 billion shillings effective the 2021-22 financial year. An understanding explicitly spelled out by the CRA on its own website. Counter to that expectation, when the CRA released its recommendations for the year 2021-2022, it maintained the equitable share to counties at 316.5 billion, the same as it has been for the last 2 financial years. In a press statement released on Tuesday, the Commission explained the submission was delayed by 15 days to enable the Commission build consensus with Parliament, the Council of Governors and the National Treasury. We wait to see if the CRA's statement on consensus will be independently corroborated by the Legislative Arm and Council of Governors. But given the CRA's recommendation is based on projected revenue, it's likely that a finger will be pointed at the impact of the coronavirus on the economy for the failure to realize the equitable share of revenue to counties. CRA has projected a shareable revenue of 1.8 trillion shillings and proposes that the national government be allocated 1,443.7 billion shillings. Out of the 370 billion allocated to counties, the equitable share is 316.5 billion shillings, with an unconditional allocation of 17 billion to be shared out by all counties. Another 36.48 billion is to be transferred to counties from ministries. Should the CRA proposal in truth be the product of consensus, 4 counties would receive allocations of 12 billion shillings and above, led by Nairobi, followed by Nakuru, Turkana and Kakamega. 5 counties would receive allocations of less than 5 billion shillings, with Lamu County receiving even less than 4 billion with an allocation of 3 billion shillings. Speaking on radio on Monday, President Uhuru Kenyatta made the case for the Building Bridges initiative, promising that it would see more monies allocated to the devolved units. But as it stands, even the 15% minimum has proven an exercise akin to pulling teeth.
Olive
Barrows, NTV.
From fiscal insecurity to national insecurity, the government says it is in hot pursuit of Sunday attackers in KAPEDO, Baringo County, including leaders accused of organizing and financing the incessant attacks. Heavy security presence has been spotted in the area, which remains highly tense. Regional correspondent Bridget Ngana reports that the attack and resulting operation has brought life to a near halt. And you would understand this with some of the legislators claiming to be taken hostage, something the Interior Ministry refuted.
Armored security vehicles and heavy armed security personnel roving about KAPEDO shopping center, a day after the government launched a major operation in the area to flush out criminals who shot and killed a police officer on Sunday. The security onslaught will cover KAPEDO, Tiati, Lomelo and Nadome regions. Tension remains high in the volatile area and mobility restricted due to fears of another attack. Locals here say life has come to a standstill.
Lakini kwa sasa ninaona magari ya serikali imeingia sehemu hii, mandege na zinaelekea upande wa chini huko mahali ambapo wahalifu wanajificha. Ninahofia kwamba haya magari ambayo imefika hapa na mandege kuna kitu itafanyika ili usalama katika nchi ya KAPEDO hii inaweza tulia ili watoto waende shule.
Tumeumia, watoto waende shule. Kwanza niko na msichana ya class 8, atafanyaje mtihani? Hajasoma. Niko na mtoto wa class 7. Jana wengine wamefanya mtihani, na yeye pia hajafanya. Nitafanya nini? Mimi ni Mkenya kweli. Simuleta magari mtusombe kama ni kwa bahari mtupeleke kuliko maneno mingi. Sisi tunaumia hapa Kapedo. Chakula hatujapata. Hii wiki mbili yote hakuna mboga, hakuna nini, watoto wanatulilia. Tutasaidikaje?
Kwa hivyo naomba tu kwamba hii iwe ni kazi ya serikali pasipo kuwa na maafa.
The government says it will not relent until the killers are captured and brought to book. But this is hardly an isolated case, says CS Fred Matiang'i.
And there is a culture in that part of our country which seems to protect negative and criminal armament that disguises, first of all, as card rustling, but in actual fact, it is funded. And I want to say this, it is funded. We are in hot pursuit of certain people, including leaders.
Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembeya was in KAPEDO Tuesday morning, where he held cooperation talks with leaders, GSU and RDU units deployed in the region. The government says Sunday's attack was well coordinated.
There was no conflict. It was a clear case of a premeditated, planned ambush that was targeting our Deputy Director of Operations, the GSU. Kenyans know this, and there are times when we must speak to each other candidly and stop pretending and doing public relations about some of these things. That part of our country has been very costly to us in the security sector.
Incessant conflict in the region between the Pokot and Turkana communities has left several dead, including civilians. Bridget, Ghana, NTV, Nakuru.
Still on security concerns, in the last few days, sections of northeastern Kenya and the North Rift region have resembled the Wild West, with insecurity on the rise. In Mandera, the situation is quite worrying, with Governor Ali Roba admitting that Al-Shabaab control parts of his county, assertions disputed by the authorities. The government is now pushing back with a big security operation in northeastern Kenya, which Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i says will be conducted vigorously. Zainab Ismail has that report.
With increased cases of insecurity, the government is set to embark on a disarmament operation in northeastern North Rift regions.
It's the nature of our country. When we are moving towards an electoral cycle, you see an escalation of intercommunal tensions, some of them, relating to pasture, but some of them also, we have to be very sincere, have a relationship to political activity or political intentions or political expressions. It is possible, actually, that in some parts of our country like that one, we have more arms that are in wrong hands, and we will conduct that exercise very aggressively soon. The Inspector General and our team are working on the plan, and within a very short time we'll begin to deal with that problem.
The northeastern region has borne the brunt of terror-related activities, and lately, clan wars at the borders of its three counties have become a norm, largely because of meager resources like water and grazing land. Following a 3-hour closed-door meeting with governors from Marsabit, Isiolo and Garissa over the state of security in northern Kenya, Matiang'i has directed all chiefs in that region to serve within the administrative units assigned to them, warning that those overstepping jurisdictional boundaries will face the sack. Governors from the region say they've found a common ground.
We have agreed in principle that we need to bring to an end this conflict. The killings need to stop. We are neighbors, and we have been neighbors forever, and we will continue to be neighbors. And we need to find a solution to these problems.
I know that when we have conflict or when we have challenges, passions are inflamed, and there is a temptation always to point fingers, even using language that could inflame passions further and worsen conflict. I want to plead with my brothers and sisters who are standing behind me, and then those of our colleagues in the political practice, that we have a country to manage. We have a people to lead.
The CS said an audit of the National Police Reservists and the Kenya Police Reservists in the region is also underway and is set to inform how and where more security resources and personnel should be added so as to restore calm in the volatile region. This directive comes in the backdrop of increased terror-related incidents and other attacks in the counties in the recent weeks, including clashes linked to intercommunal conflicts, as well as external threats attributed to the outlawed Al-Shabaab militia. Zainab Ismail, NTV.
Still on the crime beat, police are searching for 6 armed robbers who dramatically stole an unspecified amount of money on Monday afternoon at Prime Bank, Mombasa Road branch. In a separate incident in Nairobi, 4 robbers were today cornered by members of the public as they attempted to rob Cooperative Bank University Way branch. Police had to shoot in the air to disperse the angry mob. NTV's Setolale has that report.
Monday, 2:45 p.m. A group of 6 armed gangsters dressed in a jungle green reflectors make its way inside the premises housing Prime Bank, Mombasa Road branch. One armed robber stays behind, posing as a guard manning the gate, his right hand holding a pistol tucked inside a jacket. Another armed gang rounds up security guards just outside the banking hall as 4 others enter the premises. The 4 thugs confront 2 policemen attached to the Critical Infrastructure Protection Unit stationed at the main entrance, forcing them to surrender their firearms. All the while, the armed gangster continues to man the gate of the premise with unsuspecting motorists passing by. The machine guns would later that day be dropped outside Kiambu Hospital by a boda passenger. As 2 members of the gang order everyone in the banking hall to lie down, 2 others head straight to a cashier on duty, ordering her to park and hand over the money. At some point, a gunshot is heard. The robber manning the gate appears impatient and starts signaling the rest of the gang members to leave the premise.
And he's just like that, without stress.
Moments later, the 4 gang members emerge from the banking hall with bags believed to be carrying money. They are assisted by 2 robbers who were keeping watch outside the building. The gang then splits into 2. 2 robbers take off their reflector jackets and flee using motorcycles.
Really? These 2? Yes. And the guy who's going now that way? Guy, they've taken a lot then.
The other 4 dramatically escape on foot with bags of unspecified amount of cash. Shortly after, the apprehended security guards, policemen and some bank employees emerge from the building. The person shot by the robber is unable to stand any longer.
They're running nicely, wow. Aki, did someone get shot? Aki guy. Oh my God.
The Directorate of Criminal Investigations, which confirmed the daylight robbery, is holding the police officers attached to the Critical Infrastructure Protection Unit as persons of interest, perhaps for failing to give any resistance. A bank cashier is also in custody. Prime Bank is yet to issue an official statement on the robbery or indicate the exact amount stolen. Less than 24 hours since the Prime Bank heist occurred, a gang of 4 suspected robbers narrowly escaped being lynched by an angry mob following a botched bank robbery at Cooperative Bank, University Way branch. The vehicle in which they reportedly attempted to escape in was cornered by boda operators, and it took the intervention of police officers to save the suspects from the angry mob. Seth Olale, NTV.
And now to 2 men accused of stealing the life of a 9-year-old in Tharaka Nithi. Deborah Kagendi was on Sunday lured from church by a neighbor who was allegedly offering her life as a sacrifice to the devil. She was brutally murdered, and when the suspect was confronted as to the whereabouts of the little girl, he offered her family a cow as a gift of appeasement. Police in Tharaka Nithi have 7 days to conclude investigations into the murder. Nuru Abdulaziz has that report.
Suleiman Martin Mukira, who is a witch doctor, and his client Michael Ngugi Riungu were arraigned in Chuka Court today over the murder of a 9-year-old girl in what has been described as a ritualistic killing. It is alleged that the killing took place in Tharaka Nithi County on Sunday, the 17th of January. We visited the home of the victim, Deborah Kagendi, in Pingu village in Marasab County, Tharaka Nithi County. Evans Mawira, still recovering from the shocking discovery of his sister's decapitated body, was brave enough to share what happened on that fateful day.
Mimi nilikuwa nafua maguo nyumbani, sister yangu mwenye amemfuata akakuja akanishia edikuwa kwa sister yangu mdogo ameuawa, lakini ajui ako sure kama ameuawa zilikuwa fununu.
Evans decided to investigate the trail leading him to the nearby home of Suleiman Mate Mukira, an old man locally known to be practicing witchcraft.
Kaingia kwa hiyo nyumba ya mzee, sikumpata, kaa nilikuwa toka nje, nikapatana na huyo mzee kaa amelala hapo, nikamuuliza wapi sister yangu, akanisheti nichukue ng'ombe ili atulipe huyo mtoto. Mimi nikapata kicha ya sister yangu, nilipokanyanga na mguu kuangalia uso nikapata ni sister yangu, nilipata na huzuni sana.
It is alleged that suspect Michael Ngugi Riungu had been directed by Suleiman Mukira to sacrifice a girl, goat and chicken as a ritual to protect himself from relatives who are planning to kill him. Unfortunately, 9-year-old Deborah, who normally delivers milk in the neighborhood, became part of the supposed sacrifice.
Huyu mzee ndio alisababisha kifo ya mtoto yangu. Njoo nilipokuja nilisikia alikuwa ameitisa roho ya kuku, alikuwa ameitisa roho ya mbuzi na roho ya mtoto. Alafu huyu mzee mtoto yangu huwa anampelekea maziwa kila siku na yeye ndiye alienda kumuita kanisani.
Mzee Suleiman is said to have lured Deborah to her brutal death. Though clear nothing can replace his daughter, the father just wants justice.
Polisi walipofika pale, kweli tukapata msichana amekatwa shingo, mwili uko kando, kichwa iko kando.
Naomba serikali muweze kunisaidia na haki iweze kutendeka mimi kama mzazi kwa sababu niko na huzuni.
Resident Magistrate Manamku Sudi has today ordered the two suspects remain in custody for 7 days as they undergo mental examination and police conclude investigations. Nuru Abdul Aziz, NTV.
May the perpetrators face what they deserve for what they did to this defenseless 9-year-old Deborah, and Polisana to the family. Let's now turn to the coronavirus situation in the country, where there's some good news to give. No coronavirus-related deaths have been reported in the last 24 hours as the downward trajectory of new infections continues. From the latest round of testing on 2,347 samples, 81 people have tested positive for coronavirus in Kenya, raising the number of infections to 99,308. 51 patients have recovered from the disease, the total recoveries now being 82,478. There are 694 patients currently admitted in various health facilities countrywide, while 1,670 are on home-based isolation and care. 29 patients are in the intensive care unit, and we wish quick and full recovery to all of them. It's 90 minutes past the hour. We take a quick break. When we come back, we look at the state of health service in the country.
Selena! Don't get puzzled. She's my twin. I shine your toilet. And I bathroom. So, is your bathroom clean?
Yes!
Presenting the new Harpic Bathroom Cleaner. Compared to ordinary detergents, its thick formulation gives you superior cleaning and kills 99.9% of germs and viruses all around the bathroom. Blue
for the toilet.
And red
for the bathroom.
Harpic Bathroom and Toilet Cleaner cleans and kills 99.9% of germs and viruses.
Disinfect and protect your home with Jik. Jik kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, and wash white clothes, towels, and dishcloths with Jik bleach. Just Jik it.
Welcome to our new office. Wonderful sight. Just imagine 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where the parking is, and then the warehouse front door here. The reception here, and the fridges here. The lorry's entrance there, and their exit there. One way only. What is it?
So where is the building?
Fast, stress-free construction. Get your factory-made buildings in 10 weeks with Southbuild. Order yours now. Southbuild, a quality building solution from MRM.
You said that one day I was going to feel the way you felt about loving me without me feeling the same way about you. Well, now I understand you better.
We have to find a way to destroy the vid. Right now.
We have to do everything possible not to go back to them.
I'm not going to just stand to the side and do nothing while another man comes and takes Luciana away from me.
Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy Gated Community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now ukwamue January na 21K with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300.
Welcome back. The National Nurses Association and the Kenya Clinical Officers Association have vowed to push on in the quest for better remuneration and welfare. This is following the chair of the Council of Governor, Wycliffe Oparanya's statement that he would not bow down to their demands. In retaliation, clinical officers in Mombasa and Nairobi say they will continue to stay away from work as they remain adamant that despite what they call intimidation in counties like Kisumu, Kitui, Kakamega, Taita Taveta and Mombasa, they will continue to stand their ground till their needs are met. Medical services are still largely affected in various counties as the standoff continues.
Failure to reach a solid agreement with the striking healthcare workers and the ensuing discord between the national government and county governments on specific responsibilities has seen some counties with the advisory of the COG intimidating and threatening healthcare workers with termination of employment.
Our demands were similar. They have been able to address doctors' demands and they have left us out. We are saying this now from Mombasa County and especially to the county administration, including our governor, that the leadership the governor provided to address the issues of doctors should be trickled down to other cadres.
It is still unbelievable, and this is one time I hope our reporting is wrong, that President Uhuru Kenyatta said during radio interviews yesterday that people in his government are stealing 2 billion shillings daily. 2 billion. That's how many zeros? If we can just turn to the screen. Yes, that's 9 zeros. But forget the zero. There's these zeros and let us look at what this money can do to solve the ongoing nurses' strike in the country, for example. I spoke to the Secretary General of the National Union of Nurses, Seth Panyako, earlier just to try and understand what it would take for the 30,000 nurses from public hospitals that he represents to get back to work. Well, he says if the government agrees to increase the risk allowance for the nurses to 15,000 shillings, they would be back to treating ailing Kenyans. That's what's standing in the way of them getting back to work. Now, in a month, that would be about 13.5 billion shillings, and in a year, roughly 162 billion shillings. Using the staggering 2 billion shillings lost in a day from President Uhuru Kenyatta's government, that would make it 730 billion shillings in a year, which is a third of the country's budget. And that, ladies and gentlemen, would pay the nurses risk allowance for 4 years and some months, given what they are currently asking for within their rights. That's just one thing that 2 billion shillings that is lost in a day can do for the nation. That's the only Kikuyu I know, and I hope I've used it appropriately. Now to the IEBC by-election preparations for the coming up by-elections, and those that have attracted more candidates from around the country today seem to betray what looks like a show of might for the different political factions that are presenting candidates for the general elections in 2022. Oko Kusa has that report.
In Matungu constituency in Kakamega County, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission cleared ODM's candidate in the by-election, David Were, who presented his nomination papers today, accompanied by senior party officials.
We have no problem with any party. We want a fair contest. That is what we are yearning for, so that we move forward as a county, as the people of Matungu.
Mimi naomba watu ya Matungu tusipoteze fursa hii, tusipoteze nafasi hii ambayo tumepata kuchagua mbunge ambaye atakuja kuendesha mambo ya Matungu kwa njia ambayo inastahili.
Others who have gotten the nod from the electoral body are Alex Lanya of United Democratic Alliance, a party associated with the Deputy President William Ruto, and ANC's Peter Nabulindo. In Kabuchai constituency, Evans Kakai, a former Kenya Revenue Authority director, will fly the UDA's flag after IEBC cleared him to contest in the forthcoming by-election. Kabuchai is traditionally a Ford Kenya stronghold, hence it will be interesting to see if UDA will manage to turn the tables in the March 4th polls.
Wakati huu si wa kutafuta mtu ambaye atakarabati chama ambacho kimesambaratika cha Ford Kenya, lakini ni wakati ya kuchagua mjumbe ambaye atakarabati uchumi ya watu ya Kabuchai na kuendeleza na sera muhimu ya wale watu wa Kabuchai ambao waliwacha.
Hii kura mimi naona contest is between Waluke and Wetangula, Moses. So sioni kwamba tutashindwa.
Miles away in Machakos County, 8 candidates have been given the green light to battle it out for the Machakos senatorial seat by IEBC.
Going to win the seat.
Grand Dreams Development Party unveiled former National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Finance Director Simon Kioko, while Chama cha Uzalendo has fielded activist Lili Nduku Mwanzia. The duo will compete against Maendeleo Chapchaps John Mutua, Agnes Kavindu Mudhama of Wiper, and UDA Ubanus Ngengele. The Machakos senatorial seat fell vacant following the death of Senator Boniface Kabaka. The by-election has been slated for March 18th. Huko Kusa, NTV.
And on that note, we take a break. Business news follows.
Get fresh, gotta get fresh.
Down is no boom boom pow, down is boom boom pow. Smells by na uchafuzi na zibi na improve downy. Protect nguo zangu na nukia niko safi. Lazima niwe fresh na down is boom boom pow. Boom boom pow, down is no boom boom pow. Smells zote na zi boom boom pow. Powerful freshness, down is boom boom pow.
Nani 15 bob too?
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Pants is just for me. It really feels very comfy.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
Ruiru Mabati Factory offers best quality mabati at the most affordable prices. We pride in over 10 years experience. Our products have 15-year warranty and are KAPEDO certified. We manufacture box profile, Europe tile, Jenga tile, corrugated profile, among others in a wide variety of colors. Enjoy our free delivery in just 72 hours. To order, call us now on 0111 050 700. Ruiru Mabati Factory, mali safi kwa bei poa.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
Time to do business. The government has been forced to review its maize prices after farmers showed reluctance in delivering their produce to NCPB. But as Gabriel Kudaka reports, the farmers say that the new price that has been adjusted upwards from 2,500 to 2,700 shillings is not good enough considering the increased cost of production.
The National Cereals and Produce Board depot is usually a hive of activity with long queues of lorries waiting to deliver maize whenever NCPB opens its doors to farmers. But almost a month since the board allowed farmers to start delivering maize, the response has been lukewarm.
Tunasema ni asante, lakini msitarajie kupata mahindi katika nakala ya National Cereals and Produce Board. Hiyo mahindi wakulima wamekatakata kabisa.
They say the increase in price from 2,500 shillings to 2,700 shillings per 90 kilogram bag is good but not good enough.
Ni nani huyu anatoa bei kila wakati? So tunaomba kama ingewezekana mambo ya wakulima wahusishe wakulima wenyewe, wakulima walete hoja zao, waongelee mbele ya wenye wanahusika ili tuweze kupata bei nzuri.
Iko kupanda, iko kukata mahindi, iko kuweka kwa stake, iko kufuna, iko kununua mabags, iko sasa kutransport. Hiyo ni gharama mingi ambaye ikiuzwa chini ya 3,000 hiyo mkulima anaenda hasara.
Tunashukuru sababu wameongeza mpaka 2,700, lakini kwa mikutano yenye tumekuwa na wakulima wamesema hiyo 2,700 bado. So wakulima wame request, wamesema wanataka angalau bei ikuwe kama ile mwaka jana yenye ilikuwa 3,200.
NCPB Eldoret Depot has so far received 3,000 bags. Uasin Gishu County produces about 5 million bags per season. Although some farmers were dissatisfied with the reviewed price, they are thankful to the government for at least implementing a ban on the importation of maize, which will go a long way in cushioning them from unscrupulous traders. Gabriel Kudaka, NTV.
Well, calls for greater efforts towards debt relief, for Kenya are rising as evidence grows that the country is caught between a rock and a hard place by way of its financial position. Analysts at Genge's capital say the government will need to make hard decisions if it is to climb out of the debt hole that it now finds itself in. Alex Mwangi has the details.
The government's move to do away with tax relief measures that were instituted in early 2020 to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 seems like an unpopular move among financial analysts. The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development Secretary General, Dr. Mukisa Kitui, last month urged President Uhuru Kenyatta not to end the relief measures. The government, however, had already made up its mind to push ahead with the decision.
In my view, I think it was premature. Just even comparing with some of the developed nations, US right now is now bringing on board a second stimulus package, $1.9 trillion. The vulnerabilities are still there in the developed economies and also in Kenya.
The government has been hard-pressed to admit that the country is under debt distress. Here is what financial experts have to say about Kenya's prevailing financial situation.
It's quite a tricky situation where we are in terms of the fiscal situation. We are edging closer to 70% as a percentage of GDP. That's the overall public debt stock. So at some point, we might need to take some hard decisions as a country on how to bring back the country back to a sustainable public debt level.
You just have to look at what's happening. We are renegotiating our debt payments because it's a strain to pay them. And it's not unique to us. So I think the lenders are also being judicious. But as I can imagine, they're coming with a whole host of terms and conditions on how the money has to be used. Because I can't give you debt relief, then you go and waste it.
Genghis expects the economy to grow by 5% this year. It cites the Nairobi Securities Exchange as a buyer's market. Alex Mwangi, NTV.
Companies are set to encounter challenges in complying with Kenya Revenue Authority's filing requirements following the latest guidelines issued by the authority regarding corporate tax. Now follow me if you will, because it gets kind of confusing. The Kenya Revenue Authority has directed that all companies shall apply a corporate tax rate of 30% for income whose accounting period ended before March 30th, 2020, and 25% on income for the accounting period between April 1st, 2020 and December 31st, 2020. The taxman says that for any company whose accounting period ends before or after, after January 1st, 2021, two tax rates will be applicable, being 25% for the period to January 1st, 2021 and 30% for the period after January 1st.
Sort of provision or this sort of clarification, because then what iTax needs to do is iTax needs to allow taxpayers to account for part of their income and expenses at 25% and part of their income and expenses at 30%.
Kenya is determined to conclude the ongoing trade negotiations with the United States of America and sign a free trade agreement, FTA, in order to usher in better and bigger trade opportunities and prospects for the country. At a farewell function for outgoing U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, Kyle McCarter, at State House, Nairobi, President Uhuru Kenyatta said the FTA would build on the successes achieved under the African Growth and Opportunity Act and would be mutually beneficial for both countries. Kenya began formal discussions on a potential trade pact with the U.S. in July 2020 following a joint announcement by President Donald Trump and President Uhuru Kenyatta in February. The update on the progress of the negotiations comes just a month after Kenya sealed another trade agreement with the United Kingdom, providing duty-free, quota-free access to the UK market for specified Kenyan products after the UK left European Union at the end of December 2020. And that's enough for me minding your business, but we're not done yet on NTV Tonight. Stay with us.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Maji mdosi wangu ametupa simu yangu ndani ya maji.
Mdosi wako kwa sawa. Venye Nkirota ameniambia ajui na akimpigia simu ashiki. Hey, guy, what the?
For the women who deserve more, Moped is now in Kenya and more than 40 countries. With its nylon-free surface, new Moped has unique softness and up to 100% protection. Your skin will love it.
Welcome back, and we continue with the top regional focus on human rights activists and legal officers in Uganda calling for the release of Robert Kyagulanyi, alias Bobby Wine, who has been under house arrest since the completion of voting in last week's election. A video posted on social media shows Wine and his wife pleading with officers to allow them out to purchase basic items such as food. NTV Uganda's Walter Mwesije has the details.
Close to 6 days, the home of Museveni's closest contender, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, has been besieged by security forces. Any attempts to reach them have proved difficult as the security forces pay no attention to anyone in that regard. Executive Director of the Foundation for Human Rights Initiative, Dr. Livingstone Sewanyana, says the actions of the forces are now seen as a blockade to Kyagulanyi's intentions to seek court redress over the recent election.
The act itself is not being done in good faith because it amounts to political harassment. He says he cannot access his supporters, he cannot access his lawyers, he cannot even get food. I think that is an act of political persecution, and it's not allowed under our constitution.
This video, posted on social media, shows Babi Kyagulanyi being denied access to their garden where she wanted to pick food.
You guys cannot pick food. What do you mean? Use the water. You don't tell us who picks food. You picked my boy.
In a tweet, Bobby Wine says they are stuck with an 18-month-old baby whose parents had come to visit the family. Crispy Kaheru, who independently observed the elections, says the state needs to come clear on this matter.
I think the choice that the authorities have is to strike a balance between ensuring that there is public order, which is very important, but also that Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi enjoys his rights as a person.
Security spokespersons for the army and police have previously said Bobby Wine is not under custody.
But we do have our surveillance teams that are there, and they are trying to counter any plans of seeing to it that there are violent demonstrations and also mass riots that are instigated.
However, Bobby Wine's lawyers have now petitioned court demanding for the immediate release of their client from illegal detention.
Under our laws, under the Constitution, a person is not supposed to be held without in a place which is not gazetted as a detention facility. And even those who are held in detention facilities, they are allowed access to food, they are allowed access to relatives, they are allowed access to legal counsel.
This is not the first time the state holds an opposition contender under house arrest after an election. In 2011 and 2016, Dr. Kizza Besigye, then a presidential candidate, suffered similar treatment. In 2016, Besigye spent the 40 days he would have used to garner evidence and file a case in court challenging the results of the election then. He nonetheless used his lawyers to petition court in futility.
The continued illegal detention of Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu at his home is not only an infringement on his rights and freedom, but can also be termed and seen as torture, especially psychological. Walter Mwesije, NTV.
From the aftermath of the elections in Uganda to that in the U.S., and today marks the eve of the presidential inauguration there that will see Joe Biden become America's new president and Kamala Harris as the country's new deputy president. Current President Donald Trump remains secluded in the White House at the center of a Capitol covered with troops and security barriers as the country prepares for the swearing-in, a ceremony he says he won't attend.
Members of the U.S. military, the police, and students from Howard University take part in a dress rehearsal for President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration outside the White House in Washington. Thousands of flags have been mounted and dress rehearsals have begun as the USA prepares to usher in Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as the country's newly elected leaders. Just hours to the big day, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris resigned from the U.S. Senate to take up her new assignment.
And so I just wanted to say thank you. Of course, I'm not saying goodbye. In many ways, I'm now saying hello as your vice president.
On her own Twitter account as well, First Lady Melania Trump posted a farewell message to Americans.
The promise of this nation belongs to all of us. Do not lose sight of your integrity and values. Use every opportunity to show consideration for another person and build good habits into your daily lives. In all circumstances, I ask every American to be an ambassador of Be Best, to focus on what unites us, to raise above what divides us, to always choose love over hatred, peace over violence, and others before yourself.
The American capital remains under heavy security following the January 6th Capitol attacks. Nonprofit organization World Central Kitchen have been distributing hot meals to troops that have been deployed across Washington, D.C. ahead of the inauguration.
We saw that with the huge influx of soldiers, of National Guard troops, of other agencies like Secret Service and police and other groups that were coming in to protect the Capitol and the city at large during inauguration, that there was going to be a need to support them with fresh, healthy, nutritious meals.
Trump has still not congratulated Biden or invited him for the traditional tea visit in the Oval Office. He has generally been out of the public eye since the attack on the Capitol that triggered his historic impeachment a week later. Anita Nkonge, NTV.
Historic is an understatement, and that is why NTV will be covering the proceedings in Washington, D.C. from 2 p.m. and we will be giving incisive analysis on what this means, the administration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will mean for Kenya, especially with the bilateral ties and the prospects for this nation. It does have an impact. Stay with us as we take a break. Sports is up next.
Passed in commemorating 2 centuries of inauguration in Washington, D.C.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Each time we gather to inaugurate a president, we bear witness to the enduring strength of our Constitution.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Yeah!
Malkia siku njema anatunukiwa offers kila siku.
Piga *444# utunukiwe Credo double.
Cabling tips.
Rena vegetable oil stays liquid to the last drop, so it's smooth cooking from start to finish. Now with an easy to pour cap. Mapishi poa, madishi poa.
You said that one day I was going to feel the way you felt about loving me without me feeling the same way about you. Well, now I understand you better.
We have to find a way to destroy the vid. Right now.
We have to do everything possible not to go back to them.
I'm not going to just stand to the side and do nothing while another man comes and takes Luciana away from me.
Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy gated community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now kuamue January na 21K with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300.
Great, a very good evening to you. Time for the latest in the world of sport. I'm Ida Waringa. And Kenya's preparations for the Tokyo Olympics look to be gathering pace. The National Olympic Committee of Kenya has been visiting sports people in the athletics-rich North Rift region. Our reporter Steve Keter has accompanied the NOC officials on their tour that saw Olympic silver medalist Julius Yego receive a scholarship towards his Olympics preparations.
On the second day of their North Rift tour, National Olympics Committee of Kenya officials toured the Global Sports Communication Training Camp in Kaptagat, Elgeyo Marakwet County. They had a session with the camp's athletes, including marathon world record holder Eliud Kipchoge and Olympics 1500 meters champion Faith Chemngetich.
And some of these athletes will form part of our athletics team. And for me personally, it was important to come and engage, interact, and see and open channels where we can discuss the issues as we focus and plan for Tokyo. But really impressed by what they're doing here.
I can say we were really prepared for the Olympics last year, but we didn't lose hope. We just continued training, and we are really happy that this year, 2021, we are going to compete, and we are training very hard, and we are focusing for the Olympics.
The activities were a continuation of the NOC activities in the region that also saw Olympic silver medalist Julius Yego benefit from International Olympic Committee Solidarity Scholarship, which aims at helping athletes prepare smoothly for the Games.
We have been under the check, and I think everything now is in place, so it's our time now to go back and train and get serious for 2021 Olympics in Tokyo, Japan.
We know we have a short window. We have very few days left to Tokyo 2020, and we know for every athlete in the country, each day counts, and whatever we can be able to do with support of all the prospective partners will all be geared towards supporting the athletes so that they can give us performance.
With about 6 months to the Tokyo Olympics, stakeholders are racing against time to ensure Kenya's flag flies high in the Japanese capital. Steve Keter, NTV Sport, Eldoret.
Thanks a lot for that, Steve. And keeping it Olympics, World 1500 meters champion Timothy Cheruiyot has had a pretty impressive last 2 years. From winning his first World Championship gold medal, that was back in 2019, to pushing past effects of the global pandemic to post a decent 2020 season in the Diamond League that culminated in a win in his 1500 meter specialty that was at the Kipkeino Classic in Nairobi. Just one thing is missing, though. The 25-year-old talks about his 2021 plans.
Plan is I'm lacking an Olympic medal. So in 2016 I came number 4 in trials. So now I'm working hard to get to the team for Olympics, and then after that I need to go for a medal in Olympics.
Definitely all eyes on that Tokyo Olympics. Well, let's go to the African Nations Championship that's happening in Cameroon. A Group D game between Guinea and Namibia about to kick off right now, as Zambia have just seen off Tanzania 2-0. That was in the other group match. Meanwhile, Chan defending champions Morocco took control of Group C after a slim 1-0 win over Togo. Yaya Jabrane scored the lone goal to hand the Atlas Lions maximum points. In the second match played at the same venue, Rwanda put up an impressive fight to hold Uganda to a goalless draw. The two East African nations were meeting in this competition for the first time.
hagati yabo ariya umusore hari umugabo y'abakinnyi b'u Rwanda bagerageza kongera gushyira ku murongo umukino bahererekanye neza cyane ari.
Well, Tuesday night football sees a big one with third-place Leicester hosting seventh-place Chelsea. That is at the King Power Stadium in the English Premier League late kickoff. West Ham is currently taking on West Brom with that game at halftime. Let's have a look at Arsenal. I'm sure Mark Masai will be particularly happy about this. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang scored twice as the Gunners beat Newcastle to move into the top 10 of the Premier League. Aubameyang scored opened the scoring, in the 50th minute, minute before Mikel Arteta's men doubled their lead when Bukayo Saka side-footed the ball into the net. Auba got his second and the Gunners' third after Cedric Soares, in his first league start of the season, got to the byline and then set up the striker. The Gabon international scored 29 goals in all competitions last season, including 22 in the Premier League, but he had previously struggled for goals in 2020-2021 season. This double takes the 31-year-old's league total to 5 for the campaign after 19 games.
Arsenal 3, Newcastle 0.
Great. The Warriors were down by as much as 19 points in the first quarter and 17 in the third to the NBA's defending champions, the Los Angeles Lakers. But the Dubs willed their way into a 115-113 victory. Steph Curry finished with 26 points as GSW ended the Lakers' 5-game winning streak. Curry definitely stole the show, though, as he scored a three-pointer with 1 minute 7 seconds left before LeBron James missed a three-pointer at the horn for the Lakers. In another game of interest, James Harden became the first net to score 30 points in his first 2 games as he posted 34 with Brooklyn, beating the Milwaukee Bucks 125-123. Kevin Durant also had a good game with 30 points, with a late three-pointer the difference. While the drama surrounding tennis players' presence ahead of the Australian Open continues, with Australia's Nick Kyrgios dismissing world #1 Novak Djokovic as a quote-unquote tool. The Serb led a chorus of player complaints about conditions in locked-down hotel rooms, which many deemed insensitive considering the current situation. The arrival of more than 1,000 players and staff, including 4 people who tested positive, has definitely raised controversy in a country which is largely coronavirus-free currently. Australian media zeroed in on the demands, portraying them as petulant and selfish, while showing images of Djokovic not wearing a mask in a player's minibus. Last year, the 17-time major champion organized a series of exhibition events in the Balkans at which social distancing was minimal. He and several other players consequently later tested positive for the virus. Now, despite the controversies, the Australian Open is due to begin in Melbourne. That will be on February 8th, having already been delayed by 3 weeks. Great. That does it for sports for tonight. Much more tomorrow. Let me know what you think about that game between Chelsea and Leicester at Idoringa on Twitter. It's back to Mark.
Leicester just say we Chelsea. Anyway, that's me trying to have some wordplay, but that's a good sports bulletin. I love it when Golden State Warriors and Arsenal have won. That is a good bulletin. Let's keep it up, Ida and team at the Sports Desk. And thank you for watching NTV tonight. Thank you to the team that made this possible, Flora Tino being one of them as a sign language interpreter, and you, most importantly, for being the viewer. Good night. Be safe.
This week on Lit 360.
Hey, if I was president for one day, I think I'd just fire the whole MCSK board and the Prisk and just put guys like who are working and really getting the royalties. Like, yeah, music pays, man. It's all people who are still in the